And this morning we continue our in-depth coverage of the papal transition. Dr. James Keating from Providence College joins us now with more on the selection process. You've been in before, familiar face for us as we continue this. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. All right, so you saw the black smoke emerging from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel. Your thoughts on that, first of all?
That's not surprising. No. Yeah, it normally takes more than a few ballots.
Your prediction was you believe sometime Thursday we're going to learn. So that would be how many votes do you think before we get to that point?
That would be, well, depending when on Thursday, it could be up to 6 more votes.
6 more, okay. So at this point, let's talk about the early stages of the voting. Obviously, there's, there could be up to, you were saying, maybe 5 or 6 names in the beginning. And how does it get whittled down till we finally get to the point of selecting the new pope?
Well, of course, the first ballot will tell you who's ahead, right? Who has the most votes. But the second ballot is the most important one is initially, because the second ballot, people see who's ahead, and then whether more people will vote for that person. But then the second, as soon as another ballot passes and you don't get more votes than you got before, then it's somebody else's turn.
So what's going on then inside the Sistine Chapel? I mean, are the cardinals read who the front runners are? How are they made aware of exactly who's in the lead at that point?
They announced a vote. They announced a vote of who has the most votes. And then there's a period of prayer. Normally not a lot of talking during that time. They could perhaps, but they normally do not, from what we've been told. Rather, that's for lunch and for the evening when they begin to speak about, who they think, is the most likely candidate.
I wanted to ask you about that actually, because, certainly here in the States, as we look at some live pictures of the Vatican this morning, when we have elections here, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of public lobbying that goes into pushing behind a certain candidate or another. But do you think it's more reflective in nature as far as these cardinals are concerned when they're selecting, or do you really think there is a lot of public push when they have their breaks for one candidate or another?
There's not pushing, because once you push, then people begin to react negatively. Right? But there's a lot of discussion, a lot of asking. Well, I've heard this about this fellow. What do you say? Or who do you think he might pick for his Secretary of State? Those kind of things. Yeah, that's how the voting has to work, right? Some sort of mutual discernment.
All right. So again, your prediction tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, that we will learn who the next pontiff is.
Sometime tomorrow, maybe Friday. I doubt it could be that they'll wait till Saturday, because then they have to take a break on Saturday.
And again, Sean O'Malley, as far as we know, still on the short list, but you believe the next pontiff is going to be?
Well, if I had to guess, I would say Scola, but everyone's guessing that.
All right. Well, we'll see if you're right. Obviously, we'll be finding out in the next days and hours. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And for all the updated news, of course, on the papal transition, stay with Eyewitness News or head to our website at WPRI.com and FoxProvidence.com as well.